Oh, thank you for joining us. Mapito Sibidi with the AM News just gone by. If you missed it, well, we've got the headlines, so we covered as well. Joseph Akable is here. When he's on, he's not on the show. He's our court correspondent. That's why we tend to talk about some of the things that happen in court. Today, he will tell us about the Professor Bennett issue and the alleged confessions of a cleaner. But before we even start with a review, let's talk about the weather. In some parts of the Greater Accra region, it has been raining, so we'll tell you what to expect before you get out of your home, hopefully. Pack the right materials, dress appropriately if you're coming to the center of Accra today, because it's been raining. That's how it looks by way of the weather courtesy the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So if you look at Aflawo, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takoradi, Axim, and Ho, later on this evening it will be cloudy. They say in the afternoon the sun will come out, but some rain to be expected, and that's why we're experiencing it in some parts of Accra. So a similar situation across the country. Just find where you are and look at the situation for the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. But I guess across the country, largely, there will be rains. It will turn cloudy in some parts, sunny in the afternoon, but it will go back to being cloudy in the evening again, with possibility of rain in a lot of the parts of the country. So as you step out, please be warned or take the necessary tools. Definitely have an umbrella, wear the right shoes and the right clothing. And that's your weather. All right. So let's look at the newspapers now. Joseph, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mavi.
Yeah, you're good?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
Yeah, definitely. You too. There's one thing before we talk about the court. The president did speak about, the disturbances with the so-called secessionist groups yesterday when he appeared on the radio station, because the call was that he had not spoken, he had not said anything about it. You monitored him as he spoke on the radio station. What exactly did he say?
And so first, he responds to the criticism that he's been silent on the issue. He explains that it was the heat of events and he didn't want to cause a panic because as a leader, it's about managing and ensuring that the men are on the ground doing the work. And he's been briefed daily, and he understands that the security agencies are on top of the issue and they will deal with it. And so that's why he opted to remain calm rather than make any bold pronouncements that may give people the wrong impression. And so that was the first issue he spoke about. Then the other one had to do with the fact that despite he saying they were dealing with it, there was an attack on Friday, another attack happened on Monday. And his explanation is that when dealing with terrorist situations, there's always the element of surprise. And he makes reference to the 9/11 happening in the US. But he says what is important is that your security agencies are up and doing, picking intelligence and following up on leads, such that subsequently, if they intend to undertake any attack, it will be difficult for them to carry it out. And so that has been a briefing. He's been assuring that he has confidence in the various security agencies, the army, the military, and the intelligence agencies. And he's clear in his mind that this is something that they can deal with it, and the groups will find it difficult to succeed subsequently. And so that is the president's own response on that. But the vice president yesterday on Asempa FM also responded directly to the calls for engagement, and he says, who are we going to engage with? We cannot engage with criminals. And so as far as he's concerned, those people need to be dealt with in accordance with the law.
All right. Okay, so that's settled with that matter. Let's also talk about a one-day exercise being organized by the Electoral Commission. If you have not, you qualified to register to vote in the upcoming elections, but you have not registered, you missed the last registration exercise. Well, there is a one-day window, and that exercise is today. Let's share with you the release from the Electoral Commission. It says, as previously advertised, the Electoral Commission will undertake a one-day voters registration exercise tomorrow, which is today, Thursday, the 1st of October, in all its district offices across the country. The registration exercise will afford eligible citizens who could not register in the just ended exercise the opportunity to do so. Eligible citizens who take advantage of this exercise will be able to vote in the December 2020 general election. So that's the release from the Electoral Commission, and that window is just today. So take advantage. After today, though, you still can register, except that you won't get the opportunity to vote, not in the 2020 election. But the NDC was in court, Joseph, on this matter yesterday, seeking to stop this process.
Yes, they had some concerns about the requirements that the EC was supposed to meet in terms of advertising this particular exercise and then publishing within, I think, about 21 days that they expected to do. But the court threw out the matter, saying that they should have come on notice, and that we understand the NDC says they intend to file the matter again and go back to court. But obviously that would have been after the exercise has taken place. And so if anything, they would have to be seeking the court to cancel or set aside all the process that would have taken place. But all those are matters that the court will decide depending on the merits of the arguments they put forward and the responses that will come from the Electoral Commission.
Well, this story is in the Daily Graphic newspaper, so let's just share the rest of it in terms of what's making the front page. Benefits of Tree Crops Development Authority, $16 billion to accrue annually. Also, there's a special supplement on China National Day. Hopefully, we can wish our Chinese friends a happy day today before we wrap up the show. Cleaner confesses involvement in Professor Bennett's murder. We will share details of that for you. Joseph was in court. The story was in our AM news. But what else did happen? And then that one-day voter registration that we've been talking about, and the NDC's court action, which was unsuccessful. On the back page, President inaugurates hospital at Tepa, and Hyundai Motors support Kolebu Accident Center. They presented a number of medical items worth 20,000 Ghana cedis to the Accident and Emergency Center of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital to support operations of the center. All right, so details of these two stories on the back page of the Daily Graphic. The Daily Dispatch now, front page, we will deal with troublemakers during elections. That's according to the president. Gabi Ochredako and Richard Nyama on Western Togoland Wahala. Accra Mayor on whether to legalize or not to legalize Okada. Also on that story in the paper today. On the back page, well, just details of what's on the front page, except for this, setting of landslide victory in December polls. That's a very confident President Akufo-Addo saying there. So these are some of the stories by way of headlines, front, back page, the Daily Dispatch. Joseph will tell us what's in the Ghanaian Times.
The front page of the Ghanaian Times says, President inaugurates 60-bed capacity Tepa Hospital. Activities of Western Togoland Group police swoop naps 22 suspects in Ho. And the Ghana Port and Harbour Authority says it's poised to construct the Keta Port. The port that has a CEO who is working from Tema. We are told they are poised to have the port in place. Government
Before the
secures,
2020 elections?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Government secures 92.9 million euros EU economic support grant. And EC conducts one-day registration exercise today, also on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. The back page has the president inaugurating a Tree Crops Development Authority, and Pon Kantamanso Assembly achieves 38% annual revenue in 6 months. Quickly, just page 3, the crime page. It has this update on the activities of the Western Togoland Group. We are told that the police have arrested 22 persons. I said 22 people have been arrested by the security agencies in connection with a terrorist attack on the Intercity STC yard in Ho at the Volta Regional Capital in the early hours of Monday. The suspects, who included 16 men and 4 women, are suspected to be members of the Western Togoland Group, were arrested at a hotel in Ho, where they were holding a secret meeting yesterday. 4 armored vehicles and 4 military pickups were used for the operation to nab the alleged separatists. The commanding officer of the 66th Artillery Regiment, Colonel B.B. Pantois, who confirmed the story when the Ghanaian Times contacted him, said that the operation followed intelligence gathering by the police, which pointed to the presence of the suspects at the hotel. He says as soon as the CID alerted us, the joint team moved to the hotel to arrest them. He said the captives did not resist arrest, and so there was no physical struggle, and there was also no need to fire any weapon. He said the suspects have been taken to the Volta Regional Police Headquarters soon after the arrest. And so we are told that the police headquarters at the regional level, they want to remain, they don't want to speak on the issue. They said they are yet to screen them, and so they cannot disclose their identities to you immediately. And so And that is it in terms of the update regarding the STC attack. The Ghanaian Times has the latest on this. There's some other story here, has to do with one relating to Professor Bennett's case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I was just saving that so you would give us a lot more details of that. Was this the second court appearance?
Yes, this is the second court appearance. The first one was when 4 individuals were taken to the court and charged with murder. There were 3 cleaners and a gardener. Now, yesterday we are told by the police that they've been conducting investigations and they realized that 2 cleaners and a gardener, there was nothing incriminating about their conduct.
Okay.
And so
they were let go.
They were let go. They dropped the case against them. But he said one of the cleaners in the course of investigation has confessed his involvement in the murder of Professor Bennett. The police prosecutor also says that he's gone a step further to name 3 individuals he carried out the act with. The police followed up on that lead and they've been able to arrest one of the 3 individuals. And so they came to also ask the courts for a warrant for the arrest of the 2 others. They didn't mention their names for the 2 others, but the court granted the arrest warrant, and so they said they are on a manhunt for these 2 individuals. The one who was had been picked up, they said he was arrested somewhere in Ashaiman, and so and there's the interesting thing.
So he was also in court.
He was brought to court and charged with murder. So they dropped the case against the 3 people. They left one person, James Womba. Then there's this gentleman, Opambo Bedu in Cancer, that's his name. He's the second one who was named among the 3 who has also been picked up and was also brought. So they've been both charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And the interesting thing about the guy who was brought yesterday that I noticed was he had some injuries here, just that is behind his hand, this side. He was bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah, and so either he must have been in a struggle just before coming to the court because it was fresh wounds on the left and the right side. Must have been in a struggle just before coming into court, or I guess he may have been arrested just before they brought him to court because they brought them sometime around at 12:30.
Okay, so they're looking for 2 more people.
2 more
that
people
this cleaner named
as his accomplices.
Okay, did they talk about motive?
No, that is not clear at this stage. I mean, and they say investigation is still ongoing and they are still trying to understand what exactly happened. But the headway they've made is that they now know the suspects they are looking for and they know who to hold in terms of those who worked within the household. And so that is it. That is it by way of the update that came into the court yesterday. So the judge, the magistrate remanded the 2 individuals into the custody of the police. They are to come back October 14, as the police said that they are investigating the matter. So that's 2 weeks away. And the expectation is that on that date, if they've made any fresh arrest, they will let us know.
Okay, but this cleaner who named the 3 others still pleaded not guilty.
Their pleas have not been taken yet.
Oh, pleas not taken. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going back to court when?
October 14.
Okay.
And this cleaner, is important to state, is different from the other one who had granted interviews. You know, there was one cleaner who said he wiped the blood and everything. That's not the same cleaner.
Okay.
It's a different.
He's part of those who have been
discharged. That's Isaac Butcher. He was discharged. This one is James Womba, together with Opambo Ejabedu in Cancer, who are currently before.
But who was in court?
Just in terms of the family members of the 3 individuals who were discharged. In fact, on the first day, when we went last 2 weeks, they were very unhappy that their relatives have been brought to court. Some of them were very unhappy, especially when some persons were taking photographs of them. And so they were uncomfortable about that. But today, yesterday, when they were discharged, they were very excited. The mother of one of the accused persons was actually crying after proceedings because, I mean, she said, this is an unfortunate thing. The man is just working in the house and something happens and they have to be picked up as well.
Yeah, so I think that's something that we also talked about, the fact that when something happens, there must be thorough investigations before we put people through this whole process. It's not enough to just pick up people and go and remand them. You have to do, I mean, due process must take place. You must duly investigate and there must be something pointing to them, not just because they work there.
Yes,
otherwise
I agree.
It's highly unfair.
And another issue too worth raising is the issue of the confession. I mean, in past cases, I recall the Republic versus Eugene Bafo Boni one, where the legitimacy of a confession statement was questioned. And so there's a process to which you extract it. The person needs to offer it freely. He needs to have an independent witness present, or he needs to be aware he has the right to counsel. Has he waived it? All those are issues that we expect the investigative body to go about it appropriately. And so if you pick the Eugene Bafo Bonny case, there were some confession statements that the court rejected, and there were others that the court accepted simply because of the process that had been used to extract them. And so in the haste to get to the bottom of this matter, because if the person gets counsel eventually, he could make the case that I didn't confess. I was.
Does it mean he didn't have a lawyer representing him?
No, he didn't. The two of them didn't have lawyers. The ones who had lawyers were the 3 individuals who had been discharged. And so these 2 individuals who were brought did not have lawyers.
Interesting.
Yes. And
so just take this story as still unfolding. Exactly. I mean, it could just simply be one of those things that comes out, and in the end, this gentleman who supposedly confessed, it may not have been a confession after all. That's just what we are saying, that this is not a conclusive matter. It's still very much ongoing, very open. So keep your minds open as well. We hope that the police in the end will nail the right persons, by the way. So this is what happened in court. I guess the second court case, because of the, there was the NDC one. And then this other one yesterday. All right, let's do the Business Finder. The Business Finder and the Business and Financial Times, the 2 financial newspapers today. The Business Finder first, sold Cat 4 83.5-kilometer railway from Kumasi to Obuasi as part of the new Western Line. Are we counting the sword cutting projects? Like this, every day this. Where's the sword that we use in cutting the projects? So we can start cutting some of the show. I want to see the sword.
This one is actually a shovel.
Yeah, but they always say sword, even if it's a shovel. Or so I want the sword some. That's what I'm saying.
It's a shovel sword.
EcoBank iPay enhanced digital offerings to small businesses. 92 million euro grant to ease COVID-19 impact is also another story. They've got the market summary. Consumer price, inflation, interest rate, Ghana Stock Exchange, the currencies, US dollar, now 5.7 Ghana cedis. The euro is 6.6, pound 7.2, the yuan 0.83, and then the South African rand as well. They've got the commodities as well. So you can grab the Business Finder and check out these market summaries. And then the Business Financial Times front page with managed debt stock better, according to Dr. Bawumia. This is cheaper to invest $600 million in export development strategy. Expect to rake in $25 billion in 10 years. Will be law abiding operator on a Japan IPO suspension. Oh, that's interesting. That's is this the first statement that he's made after the special prosecutor's letter to the Ministry of Finance? Says Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has said that even though he's yet to officially see the letter from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, as said yesterday afternoon, advising him to hold on the launch of the initial public offer for Japa royalties due to some outstanding corruption risk assessment of the deal, his ministry would be law-abiding and ensure that all legal ramifications are cleared. There's a quote where he talks about not having officially seen the letter. According to him, the nation's plan to launch the IPO this year is still on course, as there would be no better time than now. The plan is to list a Japa by the end of the year, and I stick to it until I can't move more. I think it is an incredible period, the highest gold prices the world has ever seen. If you have that resources, what do you do with it? Do you bury it underground, or do you use it for the benefits of our people? This is all direct quotes from him. You can read the rest of it. Is on page 3 in the Business and Financial Times newspaper. So the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta responding in a way to the special prosecutor's letter, even though he says he has not seen it. On the back page, Senate is outstanding Ghanaian-owned corporate organization in 2019. Who's given them this accolade? You can check out the details. Second Deputy Governor receives Glitz Africa Corporate Personality of the Year as well. Joseph, do you have any more papers before we do much online?
Just send you the Daily Guide quickly. The front page of the Daily Guide says Nana fires trouble makers and will defeat NDC again. Is coming from Dr. Bawumia. President cuts sword for Kumasi Obuasi railway line, and court throws out NDC over Oneday registration. And the last one on the front page says cleaner confesses Legon lecturer's killing. The back page has a story about a team that is not a good team. It says hearts ready for fresh season. Don't ask me to explain why it's not a good team. Everyone knows why.
But the headline doesn't say a team that is not a good team.
No, I read the headline. The headline is hearts ready for fresh season.
So where is the
was my review of that story.
Seriously?
Yeah. Messi explains Barca mutiny also on the back page. And this other story, Mourinho chases Dyer to toilet. Fights Lampard again. I was watching the football match.
Mourinho can be so dramatic.
You know, he took his time for the guy, but, you know, immediately a guy left. They almost scored a goal. So that was when he quickly rushed in to drag the guy, saying that, Masa, you have to get the guy to come back.
I don't know. Listen, if Chelsea had won that game, I don't know what he would have done. Oh my God! Well,
so that is it for the Daily Guide. That Mourinho story there.
Yeah. No news one. No news one.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's do myjoyonline.com. Before we bring you myjoyonline.com, when it's ready, we'll bring it to you. But remember the US debates? We talked about it. The organizers of the debates are changing some of the rules because of the chaotic nature this first one turned out to be. They've got 2 more presidential debates coming up. So if you check the BBC online page, it says the commission that oversees US presidential debates says it will change the format to ensure the remaining 2 encounters between Donald Trump and Joe Biden are more orderly. One new measure could be to cut the microphone if the candidates try to interrupt each other. And this announcement obviously followed Tuesday's ill-tempered, they put it, debates that descended into squabbling, bickering, and insult. President Trump's team has already criticized the commission's plans. The tone and tactics of the first presidential debate were criticized across the U.S. and around the world. Some of us found it very entertaining. I was surprised to see somebody actually stayed up, Ghanaian in Ghana, to watch the debate. I said, seriously? You did? Obviously, he didn't expect that it would turn out the way that it turned out. He was disappointed in the end. Let's do myjoyonline.com. Do we know if we're having presidential debates in Ghana?
We are not having. The vice president responded to that yesterday. He said it would be interesting, but it's not necessary, and that the debate is taking place wherever their candidates are going to at the constituency level everywhere. But that's not a debate that is being called for. The debate that is being called for is to have the MPPs, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the NDCs, John Mahama, on the same platform. The vice president says, not necessary, but it will be interesting if it were to happen. Yeah, so that is it in terms of the debate, whether it is happening or not. So there may be a debate, but it means that you're not likely to find Nana Akufo-Addo on the platform debating. You
know the Imani multimedia collaboration with the independent candidate? It was exciting. I mean, we need the presidential debate. See, it serves a lot of purposes. There are people who we know have already made up their minds. They will vote for NDC or MPP or CPP or PNC. You know,
it's actually strange that we are debating a debate. I mean, a debate is, when they go to the constituency, they are always debating. You take your opponent's track record, you speak to it. And so it shouldn't be a debate about a debate. It should just happen.
Thank you. Maybe we need like a commission just like the US.
Yeah, the US.
They do, because
fair point.
Ordinarily, Trump would not come and say he's debating you.
Yeah.
But it's because there's an institution mandated to do that. So
because in the past, some of the parties have questioned the platforms, and so the NDC in 2016 they did the GBC one. They opted out of the IEA one because they had some concerns. And so if there is an entity that both sides could trust also and want to undertake the election, I mean, the debate, that could also happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes, just like it happened with the Biden Trump, it can be entertaining. Let's do myjoyonline.com, and then we'll come back and talk about Bernard Mona properly, because he lost the chairmanship position of his... Why are you making faces?
I'm not making faces.
Oh, you're smiling.
I was tending to... I'm not smiling.
Bernard Mona is my friend. Don't laugh.
Why are you setting me up against the...
I'm not.
I like
just
the PNC.
Your reaction.
It's a powerful political
It's just your
party.
reaction to the news, you know? But let's do... Okay, that's Bernard Mona there. He attempted to be the chairman of the PNC again, but that didn't happen. He didn't succeed in that. However, he's actually the presidential candidate for Nadoli Kalio. So perhaps this would give him enough time to concentrate on get into parliament.
The parliamentary candidate.
The parliamentary candidate, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, which we haven't highlighted, we haven't talked much about. I mean, he's mostly associated to the chairman or the chairmanship position of the PNC.
The former MP, David Apasera, has been elected as the party's flag bearer. For some time now, it had been, we had Dr. Edward Mahama, we had Hassan Araga at a point, and now we have David Apasera. He's a former member of parliament. He was in parliament around the period that the president and Mr. Mahama were in parliament as well. And so he's come back. He wants to be the party's flag bearer. And I mean, the PNC, Bernard Mona, very vibrant, I mean, individual. He was very active, and more often than not was participating in activities that were led by the other political parties, not the PNC necessarily, but the PNC was always available to support a cause that they believed in. And so, I mean, the expectation that the new gentleman who has replaced him will be able to bring that vibrancy to play and make the PNC head on.
That could also be a challenge because, you know, Mr. Mona has joined in many conversations. A lot of times we say that the smaller political parties don't take part in national discourse, but he's one person who has been very consistent. And I think the media has also reached out a lot of times to him because of how, I guess, we appreciate his contribution. So it will be a tough job for the person stepping in his shoes in terms of would he also get the same exposure? Would he be invited on platforms to make his views known on behalf of the party? But I wish Mr. Bernard Mona well. I would love to see you in Parliament. I guess because Mr. Alban Bakning is no longer going, it's very open, so you have an opportunity to go to Parliament. We wish you well. Sorry for your loss, but congratulations, you may be going to Parliament. Let's do myjoyonline.com. This story is on myjoyonline.com, by the way, but the presidents, we've talked about it. Joseph gave us the brief. Voter secessionists, we will deal with them. Security agencies up to task, according to the president. And then we've also updated you on Professor Bennett's cleaner's alleged confessing his involvement in murder, in the murder of the professor. I'd like to see the killing of the professor. Akufo-Addo has nothing to show after borrowing 140 billion Ghana cedis, according to former president and flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. If you haven't seen our dams, then you have not toured your own backyard. Bawumia jabs Mahama as he appeared on Ekosi saying on Asempa 94.7. Yesterday, the country was quiet. They were listening to Dr. Bawumia on Asempa FM. Still on the secessionist issue, government will not negotiate with criminals, also said by the vice president. And then on the National Science and Maths quiz, high-scoring St. Peter's steamrolls Brecum and Notre Dame Girls Senior High School. We've got a full conversation on the National Science and Maths quiz, and that's always brought to us Ketsi Bright Senior High School in Kokrontumi, DBS Roofing, Adonko Hand Sanitizer, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. We will tell you what you missed yesterday, how Mfansipim were sent packing, and how they'll have to come back from the bottom next year, God willing. And then we'll tell you what to expect today. We're going into another stage from tomorrow. So all that will be covered when we join Maxwell Agbagba from Legon, the University of Ghana, Legon. Back to myjoyonline.com. Let's finish the rest of the stories there. This was from 2 days ago. You still can catch up with the former MP's, well, his position on this, because I'm talking about legally Ghana doesn't exist. And then photos. Shall we open how MPP supporters who mobbed Bawumia at the multimedia group premises? Let's see some of the photos as the vice president came in yesterday. And of course, the cutting of sword for some project. We'll show you pictures of, were you here when Dr. Bawumia came yesterday?
Yes, I was around. I was just getting ready to leave. And
I'm sure you regretted.
It was very difficult getting out of the parking lot and getting onto the main road. The roads had been blocked, and Just when I was moving, he was coming from
yeah.
the
Should have
traffic
left
light
around
area.
one. That's the time I left.
You can imagine the motor riders. I mean, they came in their numbers, and I mean,
Have we legalized it already?
these were not commercial riders, I'm told.
Oh,
These are
okay.
private
There they are.
riders,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll see. Oh, apologies. I'm looking at the pictures of air, and I thought you were all watching the same thing. So this is Dr. Bawumia as he came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the riders I was talking about. And so,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And so this one, okay, they are not wearing masks, but this one is legal, you know, unless they take money from them. That's the that's the part of this whole conversation that confuses a lot of people. It's okay to put another person at the back, but immediately you take cash, it becomes illegal.
Let's see some more pictures, shall we? So this is not like us, or when I say us, okay, the reason, see, Asempa is our sister station.
Yeah.
We're in the same building. So this is us. And this was not, I didn't see this. I left around 1 p.m. yesterday, and I didn't see people. I only saw security personnel. I guess they were coming to prepare.
Advance party.
Yeah, you know, for the vice president. And then this happened later in the afternoon. Wow. Interesting. Okay, guys, this is where we have to end the review segment of our show. Joseph Akable, is there anything happening today?
Following up on the Kennedy Japan, his doctor supposed to be in court this morning, so that's what I'll be following up on, to check, to explain the COVID-19, post-COVID-19 complications that he spoke about. The doctor will be explaining things to the justice later today. Okay,
and then he would take a decision as to whether or not he was going to hold proceedings.
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of the judge again?
Justice Amos Wunta Wuni.
All right. Good morning to you, our Lord.
Yes.
Yeah. We greet you. We love you, your procedure, and we've been following keenly. All right. A good morning to Elom Ashiagbo and wife Juliana Ankuche Ashiagbo of Vakbu Senior High School. Stay with us. We've got sports with Oreku Ampofo coming your way. And then we've got Voters' Voice after sports. So kindly stay with us.